So thanks for the presentation. It was quite a lot.
Thank you.
But I think we all got a lot of good information, but we could dive a deeper perhaps. Before we do that, I wanted to ask about you. Like, how did you come to work at Sony and your journey from working in advertising? Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, it actually is a funny story because my studies were related to tourism and travel, not really to music. I think that happens in music quite a lot, that people come from many different industries. Some people come from communication or, I don't know, like very different. And I studied tourism, and then life brought me to some marketing related jobs and social media. I worked at a startup who developed an application. At that time, it was like a very, very new thing. And it was about travel guides and also community management. So from there, I jumped to an agency to develop other brands, and I jumped to some alcohol brands. Alcohol is very related to music because, no, don't laugh, but it's mostly because alcohol brands activate in music festivals, because it's a place where people have fun, go for listening to music, but also to have fun. And that gave me the opportunity to work with some music-related campaigns. And after that, I found this job at Sony Music. And they wanted a person who had experience in social media, more marketing, a marketing profile, not that related to music, but like with a wider, experience perhaps. And that's how I started.
Okay. And were you focusing on the content side or more on the technical aspects, or both, or how?
At Sony, you mean? Or in general?
That's fine.
Yeah, so it was more strategy and social media strategy and content strategy as well. It was more like a creative role. Regarding strategy and not the technical stuff, because technical was a job of the paid advertising team, which is a different team with everything within the digital marketing team, but it was a specific person who led that part. So in my case, it was about platform strategy, audience developing, branding, and everything to accomplish with those goals, and related to digital was my cup of tea, was my role.
And on your first day, you just got Rosalia as your accountant. Okay, work with her, or how did that go?
No, not on the first day, but I had the chance to work with very interesting artists at the beginning, especially with emerging artists. I worked with an artist. They are influencers actually, but they do music as well. So I work with them. And right now I'm working with more artists and big ones in Spain and also internationally, because I also do the influencer marketing. I'm in the influencer marketing team. So I develop locally the influencer marketing campaigns for the whole roster. So if Central C is releasing an album, I have to implement the influencer marketing strategy locally.
So what does that mean? You find tastemakers, influencers who would in ways?
Yeah, this is interesting, the influencer marketing, because when I came to Sony, no one did influencer marketing. It was like a very unknown thing. And I came from marketing, and I knew what influencer marketing was and the importance of that. And over the years, because I've been working at Sony for 6 years almost, teams have realized about the importance of this, about the importance of people speaking about music or about an artist, especially when the artist is international and is not well known in your country. You need other people to speak about the artist. So yeah, I had to do like that work of, showing people the importance of this. And yeah.
And were the influencers in really different domains, in fashion, let's say, or travel, or what's your filter?
Yeah, we work with influencers of all types, of all audiences. Actually, when we started doing influencer marketing at Sony, it was everything about dance and big influencers. But then I realized that having a full strategy, influencer marketing full strategy, you can even work the different stages of the marketing funnel. So that way you can have influencers developing getting your artists, your emerging artists known in your country, and other influencers that are maybe bigger, like developing all the advocacy or credibility of these artists in your market until you get the all stars are the influencers, as we call them, who you really move the music on the platform. So it's like a whole strategy, and for that we do. It's not only about people creating content with music, dancing or whatever, but also we try to create relationships between the artist and the influencer, and sometimes we just organize like a meet and greet with influencers and artists, so that way they know themselves, create content, and everything gets more natural. They become friends. Actually, I shouldn't tell that, but I'm not gonna say names. But we have an artist, and he ended up with an influencer, like a couple, because of a meet and greet we organized in the past. So it's all about that, about creating connections. And yeah.
And do you think there's any aspect of this that could be copied, used, or referenced by smaller artists, indie artists who maybe don't have money or that kind of team?
Yeah. Emerging artists can do the same. Well, they don't have maybe the money a major label has, but sometimes, and it happened in the past to me with some emerging artists I worked with, they just text the influencer like, I love your content, I see that you like this type of music, why don't we? Of course, it was not a small artist contacting a big influencer, but it was a small artist contacting a small influencer who was also trying to grow. Because the thing in platforms is that people use social media to connect with friends, family, but also to new people. So, and people like to see these connections as well, like, get real. So actually on social media, content that perform better is content with like several people involved. So maybe you notice that when you create content with people, probably is going to work better than content of you on your own. So if you are creating content with a small influencer, it's good for both. So
do you have maybe some good examples of content types that, like, from different genres that could work well or that worked well in your work?
Yeah. Well, the examples that come up to my mind are like the biggest ones. But for example, Maluma, the reggaeton artist? He's huge. Well, huge reggaeton artist in Latin America and in Spain. And everyone loves Maluma. It's like very, very famous. And in Spain, there's an influencer, is one of the best influencers, the biggest. Her name is Lola Lolita, and he's got 10 million, between 10 million, 15 million or so. I don't remember. It's not like much. I mean, there are influencers even bigger, but the thing of her is is very natural, and she's a celebrity already. So we organized a meet and greet between Maluma and Lola Lolita. They created a video, like very silly video, using a sound that was not even a Maluma song, and it was like very very famous. Even media like showed the content because it was huge. And Lola Lolita is in love of Maluma, so every time she always posts things about Maluma. So naturally, organically, and free for free, she already upload content about Maluma because this connection, because of this connection. So that's one example. Or for example, I got the chance to organize a meet and greet between Nati Peluso, which is another rap Latin artist from Spain, or Argentina and Spain. And we organized this meet and greet with a very famous cook, a Spanish cook. His name is Jordi Roca, and he's one of the biggest, most famous cooks in the world. And we organized this meet and greet because Jordi loves Nati, loves her music, and Nati loves food. She's always posting about food, and it was again a natural connection, and this was very famous as well. And the good thing is that they made a collaborative post on Instagram, and it was crazy, the numbers. Also, Nati Peluso with another influencer in Spain who she's like very like sassy, like very cool, but she is 5'6". 5'6"? Like, yeah. She speaks about physics, and she's very smart. And we created a
physics.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah, physics. and this content was also very, very popular. So yeah, but always looking this natural connection that works.
Is there money exchanged or not necessarily?
Not necessarily. If the influencer likes the artist and the artist likes the influencer, and it's natural, there's no money, because at the end of the day, the thing is, we see it like a win-win, like for both, because the content is going to work having two strong people, which is an artist and an influencer. So it's going to be beneficial for both sides. So even if you're an emerging artist, you can do the same. Even if you're collaborating with a micro influencer, what we call like someone who has, 1,000 followers. And if you create a content with that person, and maybe this person can use your music in different videos or whatever. If you make a deal with this person, or you can have great content there as well.
Okay.
Getting know.
It already came up before that the algorithms can be like a blessing and a curse also in a way, and people try to find ways how to get out of their algo bubble, I guess. Do you see good ways to do that? For example, also Mexico came up in your example, that it was an issue for someone that she was locked in Mexico. But in Spotify's terms, I heard this the other way, that Mexico is like such a huge city, and Spotify like really prioritizes music that's popular in Mexico or in huge countries like Rio de Janeiro or LA, for example, and people try to engineer their music that it gets picked up in Mexico City or elsewhere. Do you see things like that working for smaller artists, how they could get out of their bubbles?
Yeah, like having presence in other markets, you mean, right? First, if you have to think, when you want to be like international artist, you want to export your music to other markets. First, I think artists should do a research about what type of music. I mean, for example, if you do, metal music, rock music, metal music, which is more niche, and you want to export your music to Spain, it may be difficult because the genres that are listened in Spain metal is not one of them. I mean, people mostly listen to, of course, there are Spanish people who listen to metal, but mostly are pop music, reggaeton music, like Latin music. So first try to do a research about what's going on in this market and if it's the right market for you. And then from that, if it's the right market, try to use the platforms that are for free. Social media, it's for free. And it's a very good promoting platform. You just have to create content. Well, it's a job actually, but you create content and try especially to use some hacks to get people from that country you want to be present. Like for example, as I was telling before, localize that content. Speak if in this country they speak another language different to yours. And if you can speak the language, try to speak in that language in your content. Also, your music, try to write lyrics in that language also, or you can mix. For example, we have an artist called Ana Mena. She's huge in Spain, but she's also huge in Italy. So because her music is pop music and it's like a bit like Italian, like this old Italian pop love songs, and so she can speak Italian, so her lyrics are in Italian. She does this Italian thing that is having the same song, the Italian version and the Spanish version. Artists like Laura Pausini, like Nick, who are Italian artists, they did that in the 2000s, and Ana Mena does that. So she's got this song and she's collaborating with Italian artists. She speaks Italian. When she creates content addressing Italian people, she speaks Italian. Also, the captions are in Italian. So try to localize the content as much as you can if you want to reach people from there and getting people feel connected. And also, if you are using TikTok, you can join trends that are popping in those countries. If you use the TikTok creative, I don't remember the name of the site. I told about that before. The TikTok Creative Center. It's a site where you can see what trends are popping in a specific country and sounds and what influences. So that way you can join the conversation in those markets.
Some people told me that they're trying to make like thematic Spotify playlists and just put their songs in it also and just try to advertise that playlist. And for some, it works really well. Do you have experience with those kind of tactics?
We don't recommend paying to those. Well, I mean, we at Sony, in the sense of we don't do that. I mean, and I don't recommend to pay for those kind of service. I'm sorry if someone works in this type of service, but the more natural is your like music consumption, the better, because platforms know that. And also, if you pay for getting a song in a playlist, maybe that song is going to go well, but after that, nothing's going to happen unless you pay again. So it's better to build a brand, and from that, little by little, following the marketing funnel I explained before. But what you can do, for example, is you can do campaigns on Spotify, on platform. There is a campaign called Discovery Mode, and it's a good campaign for emerging artists because you pay part of your royalties for every stream you get from that campaign. So it's a cost-effective campaign, really. And when you run this type of campaigns, what Spotify does is putting your song in personalized listening sessions like radio, autoplay, and all those tools. So that way, you get more streams in personalized sessions. And also, if you get more streams, you're going to get in more playlists, etc. So it's a campaign, but still more natural than paying a company to put right away your song.
Yeah, but you pay for this with the royalty you would earn from the platform? Is that what you meant?
Yeah, so Spotify keeps part of the royalties you are gaining for every stream generated from the campaign.
by thematic playlist also meant that if you as a person just make a playlist and you advertise your own playlist and you keep on putting your song and other songs as well, and you just develop a playlist that people like and follow. And I've seen this work a little bit for some artists. Have you seen things like this?
You mean like paying as well at some point, or like organically?
I make a playlist with other songs and my song as well. And I advertise that, for example, that playlist.
You can do that.
And I get followers with that, and it helps the algorithm in one way.
Yeah, what you can do in that sense is creating a playlist and using it as content in some way, in the way that you can create playlists, inspirational playlists that, for example, playlists that inspire me for this song, and then you can add songs of your songs and songs from other artists, and this is a way to also build your brand, because that way you're telling your fans what are your inspiration and what is your project about. So this is very interesting to do some branding as well. Then you can promote that playlist on Instagram, well, your socials, like content to inspire your fans. But also, if fans go to the playlist, are going to listen to music and are going to listen the songs. And in terms of paid advertising, you can do campaigns to get traffic to your playlist. You can run ad studio campaigns. Ad studio is the paid advertising platform of Spotify, and you can do like audio ads, video ads as well. But rather than getting traffic, I recommend to use it more for visibility. But yeah, it's much better to do it like organically, playlist wise. And
a lot of the tactics that you mentioned were mainly for awareness or visibility, if I'm not mistaken. What do you think would work best if you want to make money on it, actually? Like, is there a setup with the targeting and a goal that you spend on and you actually make some money on it? Let's say if you target everyone on your YouTube, and maybe that pays much more than Spotify. I mean, it does, of course. Does it make sense? Like, are there campaign setups where your goal is to make some money and support yourself and make it a sustainable business? Do you see that a good setup for that?
It's gonna depend on, as I said before, where your audience is first, to get to know well where you have to run these campaigns. Let's say that we have 10 euro for the campaigns. So you have to choose. 10 euro is nothing. So first, know where people are, where your audience, prospective audience. And then it's very important, of course, to have your goal clear. So if you're an emerging artist, probably your goal is visibility, getting known, get fans. So your goal is very clear, it's awareness. So the metric is pretty much the same in all platforms, whether YouTube, Meta platforms, or TikTok. It's going to be video views or reach or impressions. So from that, you can set your campaign. So you've got your target, you've got your goal, you've got your budget. So then you need creatives, like the content. And it's very important to adapt the content to the platform you're running the campaign. And if the campaign is looking for this visibility, for this reach, in one piece of content, you have to tell a bit about your project in a way that it's appealing for fans, for prospective fans. And also, I think it's important when you create content for ads, think as a user and not as yourself. Because if you think as a user, you're gonna realize that when you see ads, you probably see like 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and you scroll because you maybe don't even care, or it's not appealing. But I've seen ads that I even go to the profile because there are ways to adapt and create good content for ads. So my recommendation in this sense is keep it short, very short, call to actions in the 5 first seconds as much, and keep it appealing and
how do you pick which content to advertise? Do you specifically make content for advertising, or you just look at the organic content and see what's working best and take that for advertising?
Actually, when I started at Sony, we did that. Like, we saw the content we had, and normally it was like cuts of the music videos, and we put the out now text and for the campaign, but that doesn't really work. Well, it works if the campaign is supposed to address people that already know you as an artist, and maybe they didn't know that you released a song. But well, right now we have a team in-house, and they create specific content for campaigns and for platforms, because on TikTok and on Instagram doesn't work the same thing. So you have to adapt the content to the platforms as well.
And can you name some big differences between the organic content and the content for advertising?
Yeah. So basically, the length of the cuts. So as I said, very short, like 15 seconds as much, 10 seconds. This is for ads. The CTA, the call to action. So telling people what you want from them. Keep it like in the 5 first seconds. Try not to be like very specific. Unless you are really looking for traffic to a site, for example. But if you're looking for awareness for people knowing you, you can create a video, maybe like a natural one, saying like, if you like Arctic Monkeys, you're gonna like this. Start playing something like sounds to this band, and this could be like a natural way to attract these fans that may like Arctic Monkeys because you are doing similar music.
Yeah. Maybe it cues into this. A friend of mine, Ferry, he's a producer, a DJ. He wanted me to ask you specifically that he's making a lot of content with his music, but also with other stuff from his life, and the other things work much better than his music content. And is it something that's general, or artists should not post only about their music or too much about the music, but something else, or what do you see that?
Yeah, this same question was made by an artist I work with like 2 weeks ago. He's an emerging artist, and he said the same. Like, in this case, he was like, I don't want to be an influencer. I don't want to post my private life. So no, you don't have to post your private life, but what you need to do is posting your professional, your project, your music, but in a natural way. So, for example, one thing you can do is sharing behind the scenes content of you creating a song in the studio, like very natural. For example, when you are making a music video, this breaks when you are like eating something on, like, retouching your makeup or whatever. That could be a good content for social media. So you don't have to be an influencer in the way that you don't have to post about your private life. Of course, you have to have a brand, because this brand is going to have a personality. So you're going to post about that. You can post about your thoughts, as long as they're related to your music or your creative process. Because this artist as well, he was like, for example, I love books, but I don't want to be a book influencer. like I like speaking about books because my audience could be like, get confused or something. And it was like, well, maybe you can bring books to your music in a way that you just play your music through books. For example, like, this book inspired me to write this song. So always like looking for that link with your music, and try to make it natural and organic. That's the thing.
And just zooming out a bit, I guess consuming so much media is leading to fatigue and just tiredness, and people hate it. So what do you recommend for that? Like a lot of people are just, not even scrolling now, just using social media for chatting and DMing, and a lot of content travels through DMs, and it's even harder to actually follow from analytics or metrics because you don't know what's being shared there and how. But as far as I know, Instagram started to put numbers on the shares also, like how many times it was shared, and that's kind of like becoming an important metric. Do you deal with this, or do you have any recommendations for artists how to cut through the fatigue, or what to do with themselves when they are fatigued?
Social media is huge, is a thing. In terms of because you mean in terms of content creation or
consumption and creation also, it's just so tiring and rotting your brain.
Well, actually, I don't know. I think artists can use social media or not, if they like or not. If not, if they don't like social media or be like up to date of everything that's happening, they definitely should have someone to help, a friend, or if you can have a professional, that's much better. But if it's a friend, it's good as well. But because at the end of the day, you have a brand and you have to join conversations to get reach and visibility and be there as well.
And the constant like validation loop, or thirst for validation and not getting enough, is probably going to lead to mental health issues very quickly. So do you even recommend artists to give it to someone else and let someone else handle it, so they don't own it all the time?
Yeah, if it's something that it's really an issue for you, because sometimes, especially when you grow as an artist and you get big, polemics are like, a daily plate. But if you are sensitive, to this, absolutely have someone to help. Don't read comments because it's not healthy for you. Of course, health first, guys, please. Always that. And I don't know, in terms of content creation, you can maybe book a moment with someone who make videos of you in a session in the studio and create the many videos, so you can have like content for, I don't know, for a month, and that way you don't have to be like every day thinking about what do I post. So if you book this moment to create content, I think it's a good
okay. Another thing I wanted to ask you is, how do you think about this inside Sony, about trends, like social trends, how things are just becoming much more fragmented, and islands and bubbles are much harder to break? And do you deal with this as like looking in the future, like how to break artists to that level where they used to be, or might be more difficult to get to in the future because of the more fragmentation?
But precisely, I think because of this fragmentation, there are communities coming up where artists can be more in touch with fans, like in a more even collaborative way. Because a trend we are detecting in the industry is that, well, of course, people, thanks to social media, feel closer to the artist, blah, 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 because of the interactions and such. But it's massive. So artists are tending to be in other platforms, especially platforms that don't rely on algorithms, like Discord, for example, or broadcast channels, or this type of groups. So that way, small communities are emerging as well, and they are very powerful. And I think there's gonna be, because right now I think all the artists are like in the same situation, like It's very difficult to get there because there are so many competition. But the good thing is the market is also big. So the competition is big, but the market, the opportunities are also big. So as long as you have your community, your fans, your fan base, and you take care of them and make music for you and for them, take care of your fans, because it's really is essential. And marketing wise, going a bit further, actually one of our focus right now in the industry, not only Sony, but all the companies, is first party data, which is the information that the fan deliberately gives you, because that person wants to be
opting into a newsletter, let's say.
Yeah. So, and that's been like very important for companies, for brands, for so long. But in the music industry, it's something kind of new. So, for example, there are platforms like Hype did. I don't know if you know it, but you can run campaigns to get this type of data. For example, like by pre-saves, like pre-save my song and you will have a snippet of my new song or whatever. So when pre-saving, the fan is giving you information because he's giving you or she's giving you the email. So once you have the email, you can communicate with the fan in a more like close way. So this is and also you are knowing the fan better, because right now in the social media spectrum it's very hard to know people. You can know people as, I don't know, as a whole, like, yeah, people from a specific range of age or whatever, but you don't really know that fan. You don't really know what they like and how they behave and what they want. So this is a way for us, for major labels, to know the fan and create this type and take advantage of this type of communities, small communities that are emerging because of the fragmentation of the market.
Okay, that's good. Any questions? No? There's one.
Yeah, there are influencers that are that specialize in one topic. So it's true that they are using always the same hook. But that's because probably because as they are specialized in one topic, the content is always relevant for people that like that content. For example, if you specialize in Japanese desserts, the content itself is going to be relevant for the audience because it's like very clear and very specific. So probably that's why. But it's different for a music artist, because I think the music artist is more complete. It's a whole brand, and in order to connect with fans, you have to show this artist persona. And that's much more than a hook. You can use a hook, but I think an artist is much more. And you don't have the influencer. That person's job is creating that content, but artist's job is creating music. So you probably don't have time for that, for. And influencers maybe use these hooks, but they are also editing the content. Like they know specifically when people leaves the video, or they have this very studied. But in the case of an artist, I think it's better to mix things, because you may have content, photos from your tour, or videos from when you are, I don't know, in the studio producing or making music, or even, I don't know, if you go anywhere to a bootcamp with other artists to, I don't know, to create, like, is much complex, more than an influencer type of content. So that's why it's better to mix formats. It's also easier for you because imagine that you have to post videos every time. But if you can post a photo dump with just photos that you have on your phone, as long as it makes sense with your project and your brand. But yeah, that's why I recommended a mix of formats, and also because it's good for the interaction and it's aligned with the platform's goals as well.
Still within this context, the artist-fan connection. A lot more people are making music these days, and it's more and more simple. Do you see any change in this relationship between how what listeners who are not just listeners but also music makers, in many cases themselves, change the dynamics between how they consume the music, or what sort of content they maybe enjoy more? That is more about how the artist makes the music, or is there a dynamic there?
Yeah, sure, there is. Well, because of social media, nature is like very interactive and connecting people, etc. And there are tools as well that allows people co-create content. So the relationship definitely has changed. Relationship between artists and fans, because fans see that they can have voice, in an artistic project, and they want to feel part of it. They want to be part of it. And good things that I think they're really smart, and I've seen from artists I work with, are like, for example, launching a TikTok live or Instagram live to create a song with the fans. So the artist is like, this is the melody base, and I need the lyrics. Could you give me some ideas? And all this doing in a live. You can do it on Twitch as well if you are more like a gaming profile. But if your audience is there. But yeah, it has changed, and people want to be part of the process as well. And that's why, as I said before about the small communities and being like more in touch with fans are growing because of this type of behavior people are getting right now. And yes, mainly that.
Okay. I think we have to finish soon. Just I wanted to ask another thing about future, and if you had like a magic wand or a genie in a bottle, what would you ask for to make your work and the artist's work easier?
To make
make your life easier or better, like in working to make your social media. What is it? What's the thing that you think it's missing, or what would you love to have?
Yeah. I'm gonna be like repeating again, but first, having a brand. But just because this is gonna make everything easier, because when you have when you ask yourself the questions I showed you before in the presentation, you're gonna have your project more clear. Like, okay, this is my tone of voice. This is me as an artist. I like books. So, and when you know that you like books and this is related to your music project, you already have content line, let's say. So if you don't know what to post one day, you can post something about books that are related to your, so that makes your life easier, because you have the narrative. So you just have to get it down to content, have someone to help, to follow you with a phone, making videos or photos or whatever. Also with social media, have someone to help. If you don't have anyone to help to curate comments, you can not ban comments, but make them like invisible.
Switch them off.
Yes, switch them off. Yeah, thank you. You can do that. It's not the best, but for example, there's an artist called Regina Spektor. She's a Russian. Yes, she's from Russian, but she moved to America when she was very young, and she's
US?
is there.
Jewish. Yeah.
Jewish. So she had to switch off the comments because of the whole Gaza thing, polemics, and everyone was like, criticizing her a lot. So she had to switch them off. So, I guess it was because of her mental health. Like, I don't need to read all. This is what I believe, and yeah, you can do that. Do that if you don't have anyone to help. And then like organic wise is my tip, and also about running campaigns, paid media campaigns. As I said before as well, have clear your objectives. Then the content is very important. Adapt it to the campaigns and to the goal you're following. Targeting is very important as well. And don't worry about budget in terms of if you're spending, like, if you have €10, it's fine, as long as you're reaching the right audience.
Okay. And lastly, what are your plans for this year? Do you have any for this year? What are your plans for this year?
My plans for this year, learning more about first-party data because it's gonna be the immediate future, and basically to help artists to like be more in touch with fans and also help fans because I feel like I've been like very focused on the artistic part and the artistic side, which is our business, but fans are our clients at the end of the day. So I would like to put more focus on fans. So those are my main goals for 2025.
Okay. Any questions from anyone? Last chance.
Do you think they can have somebody's chances of breaking through if they join the music business, for example, working for labels? Job like yours, for example, any kind of job for label. Does it help if you're an artist trying to break through?
To break as an artist, you mean, or
Signing yourself?
Sign. To work in a major label, you mean, for an emerging artist? Yeah. There's a belief about numbers on social media. Like if you are not an influencer, major labels are not going to sign you, and that's not true. Actually, we're signing totally emerging artists that don't have numbers on Spotify or social media at all. But we believe in the type of music, and also you have to do a research because Sony Music, for example, in Spain at least, or in the Latin American region, music, the popular music is reggaeton, pop music, not maybe metal. So it's going to be more difficult to sign a metal band rather than reggaeton artist, for example. So you have to do that research. What majors are signing this type of music in order to pitch them with my project. But yeah, there's opportunity. If the project is good, if the music is good and is aligned with the major goals, artistic wise, it's possible for an emerging artist who doesn't have numbers. Actually, I want to, because I have an example of an artist. I have some colleagues. Last year, they went to a music festival, a small music festival. It wasn't Primavera Sound. It was in a region, not Madrid, not Barcelona, in a small region in Spain. And there was an artist, unknown artist called Jose Luis, and they signed him because the project was amazing in terms of the brand. My colleagues fell in love with the brand of this guy because it was like very like recognizable, and very powerful, and the live show was amazing. So yeah, it's totally possible.
That's great. Good hope for the last part. Yeah, thanks Thank you.
Thank you.
Coming and sharing all this. Thank you all for being here. Clap now. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks. See you next month.